Every night I go to the mirror, I hug myself, I give myself a kiss, and I say, I love you, and I am so proud of you. And I'm telling you, that has made such a difference in activating this feminine energy that is going to change your life. In today's conversation, we're going to talk about how to master your feminine energy. And I'm really excited to have a girl talk with you because this is my most recent level up, okay? This is the thing that personally I can tell you has changed and allowed me to quantum leap into this new personality of myself that, personally speaking, I have been becoming more and more magnetically polarizing. I've been able to attract more abundance. I've been able to attract more opportunities. Things are just flowing, and that was always the case. So I know for a fact that these are the things that I can share with you that are going to help you level up and completely change your life. Okay. So I do have my notes ready for us because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But before, I want to get started by recommending you my favorite book. My favorite book is Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, in terms of helping you really understand your psyche and the science behind how manifesting really works. But in terms of breaking down the Bible and just understanding better how we are creators in our own way, Neville Goddard's material is really amazing. And I want to read to you a little part here that I highlighted for us, which is: to rise in consciousness to the naturalness of the thing felt is to swing wide the door and invite this one into embodiment. This is why it is constantly recorded that Jesus left the world of manifestation and ascended onto his Father. All right, I needed to start with that because before we get into anything, you need to understand that you are a majestic being, okay? And even though we've been conditioned that you're just ordinary and that there's nothing great about you, or whatever story you've grown up hearing, that is a story that you get to now rewrite, and you get to embody a new personality. You get to embody a new version of yourself, but it takes you deciding that that is what you want in your life. And God will give you the way. This is why I don't believe in religion. I believe religions are just meant to separate us. I believe in spirituality. I believe in connecting to God. And I know spirituality now is something that, again, it takes you into this other road. But for me, what that means is I get to connect with God through me talking with him and listening and looking at other people that are also dissecting the word of God to better understand it. And not just, again, like the problem I used to have going to church was, I'm going to this church in which they're telling me and teaching me to treat thy neighbor, a certain way. But then when we go out of church, they are talking shit about one another. That to me does not speak of the same God that wants us to love everybody. So for me, I could care less if you're pink, purple, or blue. I could care less if you're whatever religion. As long as you are a good person, you're willing to connect with this higher consciousness that is undisputable, that is here, we can get along. Okay. So first things is, what is your divine feminine energy? Okay. So I want to preface that we all have a masculine and we all have a feminine energy. Okay. We all have it. Now, the reason it's important for you to understand it is because I personally, I'm going to give you a little story here. I was somebody that was in my mechanical energy, masculine energy for the longest time. I used to believe that in order for something to happen, I needed to force it. This is how my real estate business in the past 3 years was able to reach the $1 million mark. Okay. And I share that with you because it's something that I didn't even realize that we had reached that until I had to go back after journaling. And I was like, I've been manifesting, like making $1 million for, some time, And I looked back and I was like, you hit that mark. You hit that mark. And now this past year, going on 2 years now, since I started walking Manifestator, it was a quantum leap for me to decide that I no longer was in love with real estate, but that I wanted to teach other women how to live up to their truest and highest potential. And this is how I became a feminine embodiment coach. And the first year of being in the feminine embodiment space, of learning, investing in myself, trying to just immerse myself in as much content as I could, reading and studying, it was something that at that time, I didn't understand that my feminine energy was not activated. It was through reading all the information that I was like, oh my gosh, I am still searching for something that is within me. Okay, so I went to Peru and I had set an intention and I said, I want to connect with my truest and highest self. Okay, Peru is a magical place to be at. And when I went there, I had some very profound experiences. Okay, and the one I care to share with you right now is that I, for the longest time, still felt, after I had stayed without a relationship for now going on 2 years realistically, because I gave myself the time to not jump from one relationship to another. It was something that for me, being in that space, I still wanted a partner. And it wasn't until literally December that I fell in love with myself to such a new degree that I was emotional the other day talking to my assistant because I was listening to the song, and the song was talking about how this person is everything to them, and you're the sun, you're the stars, you make me smile, you make me whole. And I told her, I was like, when I listen to that song, I now think of me. I am not looking for something external. I am looking at me. And every night I go to the mirror, I hug myself, I give myself a kiss, and I say, I love you, and I am so proud of you. And I'm telling you, that has made such a difference in activating this feminine energy that is going to change your life, okay? Now, the first thing that I can share with you that's going to really help you, you're like, Alexa, I feel, and I'm going to give my mom as an example because I'm a mom of 2 boys, and I know what it feels like to be stressed, but this could be you and you don't have kids. This could be you and you have a job. This could be you and you're a college student, okay? This is applicable for every single female out there, and even the males, but I'm not a coach for males, so I'm not going to get into that. But when we are so consumed by what we don't have, we continue to attract more of that lack. This is why, for me, when I hear people talk about manifesting and they're like, oh yes, I say affirmations every day. I'm like, cool, but do you believe the affirmation? Because if you don't believe the affirmation, I could sit here all day and say, I love myself. But if I don't love myself, my body is going to literally be like, yeah, right, you're lying, which was the case for the longest time. My brain was like a bouncer. My subconscious was like a bouncer. And it would literally, whenever I would try to say something positive to it, it'd be like, get out of here. No, we don't love ourselves. No, we don't have money. No, we don't, whatever. So it took internal work for me to understand where those beliefs were coming from. However, the first thing that I did to help me start feeling good from external perspective, because it wasn't something that I had understood at that time yet, that my mind was creating my reality. So the first thing that you can do that's going to help you is actually starting to put more time into your appearance. That within itself, going to the gym, making sure that you're actually watching what you're eating, making sure that you're asking yourself the question that Dr. Amen says, which is this good for my brain or is this bad for my brain? These small shifts in the appearance that you're putting makes such a difference, because when you look at yourself, you're proud of what you're looking at. And again, going back to explaining to you the feminine and the masculine energy, we have both energies within us. So at that time, when I started working on my appearance, I was still in my mechanical though, and I'm going to share with you. So at that time, it was when I first had gotten started in real estate. And for me, I needed to prove myself, because the family of mine that was involved in real estate, I was not going to ask them for any advice because we did not have a relationship. And a lot of my family doubted me. A lot of my family, they saw me as the fucked up kid, as the one that had the no parents in her life, the one that was a rebellious teenager, the one that was doing all these things, right? So when they find out that I'm going to be a real estate agent, they're like, yeah, right, like we're going to trust her. So I had literally a chip on me. Like I had a chip on me because I was going to prove to, at this point, everybody, okay? I wasn't thinking about myself. I was thinking about everybody, that they were wrong, okay? So yes, the appearance part, you can sit here and stay to that, but it's not going to be enough is what I'm trying to say, because the masculine energy within you is going to wear you out. The masculine energy within you is going to get overwhelming. And that's what happened to me. I got to a point where I was making money, but I felt so overwhelmed. I felt stressed out with the boys. I felt stressed out with myself. I felt like my body wasn't looking as healthy. My skin was I could show you pictures because I've been doing gua sha, and I'm so proud of my jawline right now because it's coming in and it wasn't like this. Like it wasn't like this because I was stressing. And when I see these amazing women out there that are creating these amazing businesses and they're, grinding, I'm like, that's amazing, but are you happy? And if you're not happy and you're not fulfilled, that means your energy of your feminine divine goddess is not activated. Okay. So we need to work on that. Now, the second thing, after you've already started working on yourself and you're like, Alexa, yes, I already work on myself and I look cute. Okay. The second thing is stop trying to do everything. Okay. So I allowed myself to be more open and receiving. That was a big one for me. And I'm not sure if you can relate to this, but I was somebody that, because I'm independent, because I didn't have my parents, because I had to literally, I can tell you my childhood ended at age 6. That tells you a lot. Okay. So I had a lot of trauma, just like I'm sure we all have our stories, right? And I never wanted somebody to help me. I never wanted a man to come up to me and just be like, I could take care of you. Because in my mind, I can take care of myself, sir. I don't need you to take care of me. That was very devastating because honestly, I was repelling a lot of things that were really great. And when you allow yourself to receive something as little as a compliment, I don't know if this is you as well, because this was me. If you would have told me, oh, I love your necklace. And I love this necklace because I bought it in London and it means something to me. And I want to share this as an example. I would have said, oh, it's nothing. Oh, I love your shirt. That's such a beautiful shirt. Like, I just give you a compliment. Like, take my compliment and move on. But because I was in my masculine energy and I was constantly, in other people's heads instead of being in my body, I was basically deflecting these compliments. I wasn't receiving the compliments. So a challenge for you next time, if you are somebody like this, is allow yourself to receive the compliment. And I'm telling you this, I spent a lot of money on a coach that gave me this tip. Okay, so take it. Basically, she said the next time that somebody gives you a compliment, just say, I receive that. I receive that. I was like, you want me to say I receive that? Like, that sounds so weird. And she was like, yes, you're going to say that. And I was like, okay. I am telling you, girl, this thing right here, you allowing yourself to receive these compliments are going to level you up. And I was literally having this conversation with my assistant, which, by the way, she manifested herself onto the Walking Manifestator team. This is an example of how you thinking from this perspective of I have an ordinary life or I have an extraordinary life is up to you. She found me, started watching my videos, had already thought that she wanted to work with me, that she would like to be my assistant. The perfect opportunity opened up for her. She wasn't going to ask me, but she did because her boyfriend said, what's the worst that can happen? And she says, no. She asked me. And right now, things have been flowing in such a way. And she right now was telling me about one of her new level ups that she's looking to do. And she was talking about her dream car. It's an i8. And I was like, okay, have you driven a car already? Like, have you driven that vehicle? And she was like, no, like I've never, because I wouldn't want to go waste the time of the people at the dealership. And I was like, okay, first of all, stop with that because you're not wasting their time. You're actually going in there as a purchaser, okay? Because you already have your money in the quantum field. You're just trying to bring it now into your reality, okay? And I shared this. If you're not following me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok. I post every day there. And also on Instagram, we're starting to post more there. But I said it in a video, like, that's how I manifested my dream car that I have right now. I was literally, when I bought my first vehicle, it was a Tesla. Well, that wasn't my first vehicle. Calm down, Alexa. Like the vehicle, the most recent one that I got, okay? The Tesla was the Model Y. It was a Y Performance, and that car was a big level up for me because right before that one, I had a Audi. I had a basic Audi. Right before that one, I had a Civic. Like I'm telling you, I've been leveling up, right? So with that jump from the Audi to the Tesla, I had to go and test drive that Tesla. And I remember at that time, let me give you numbers because it's easy for me, okay? Think about my Audi costing around 30,000, around there, 40. And then the new one that I was going to upgrade to was going to be like 60 going to 70s, okay? So that was a big like difference for me. Also, I went to the dealership. I test drove that vehicle. I'm not kidding you. Literally, me test driving that vehicle allowed me to quantum leap in that moment. I said, I'm getting this car. I ordered that car that same day. I had to wait about a week around there to get it. And the rest is history because I paid off that car. And recently I leveled up again. I was starting to do some research because I wanted a Porsche. I wanted a Porsche. And if I'm being honest with you, I wanted a Porsche because of what the name symbolized. For a long time, I would see Porsches and I'd be like, oh my God, that's so amazing. So I went also to the dealership. I test drove the Porsche. And I was like, okay, like this feels good. But then I test drove my car that I have now, which is the Plaid, the Model S. So if you know Tesla, that's one of their fastest vehicles. So I did a lot of research and I hope, okay, that you've watched enough of my videos to know that I'm sharing this information with you because I think it's important for you to understand how it's possible to come from nothing and build something. But also I feel the need to say this to you. If you're getting triggered by me sharing any of the stuff that I've achieved through hard work and sacrifice, I am telling you, it's just because you have some internal blocks around money that we need to work on, even if you're already making money. And I'm telling you, once you clear those up, you're going to level up. But okay, back to the video. I went out to the dealership, test drove this now Model S, and the rest is history because I decided to level up. It was a big stretch, but I did it. It's my dream car. I'm driving it right now. Here's a picture. And this is why leveling up and unlocking this feminine goddess that you have within you is so essential because, and I said this to my assistant, and I'm going to say it to you. I changed my perception from wanting to make more money to just make more money. I genuinely, every single day that I wake up, when I say that I am thankful for my life, it's an understatement. I will fucking start crying of how thankful I am for my life. Even if somebody else wants to look at my life and say like, oh, that's not the best life. My life is amazing. To me, this life is amazing. And that is allowing me to start bringing more opportunities, even though from the logical perspective, I could get into my ego side and say, oh my God, there's so many other things that I want to do. I'm not doing that anymore. I am so thankful for what I have now that God is blessing me with more opportunities, more blessings. And this is why I tell everybody that I meet, understanding the law of one is going to help you in quantum leaping because you love everybody as if they were you. And even when they do something bad to you, you understand. Maybe you don't forgive them in that moment, but you understand why they did it. And that is so revolutionary because you stop associating with all these stories that don't serve you. Okay, that was point number 2, which is allowing yourself to receive. Now, number 3 is allowed myself to connect to the law of one. I just mentioned that to you. That is something huge for me because my true love is me. Back to that whole story of my, me driving and listening to that song. I think I mentioned it here or on the podcast, but I was listening to a song and basically when I'm listening to the song, I come to this realization that this person is singing it to, right? In the song, he's singing it to a girl saying like, you're my life, you're my wholeness, you're my peace. And I'm literally crying when I come to the realization that I am now singing that song to me. When you can fall in love with yourself to that degree, your energy, this feminine energy that you have is going to shoot up because you're loving yourself. You're tapping into that level of you knowing your worth and knowing your wholeness, knowing that you are perfect exactly the way you are. but you're humble enough to continue to invest in yourself to grow. Point number 4 is look into a passion project, starting a new business. This could be connecting to nature, playing more. This is a big one because for me, that was where I made that quantum leap into deciding that real estate was no longer my priority. Real estate is something that right now, the way I'm focusing on it is that I'm slowly starting to pass the reins to my team. And eventually I'm going to step aside and I'm just going to run my feminine embodiment my feminine embodiment classes, because to me, helping women and serving women through what I've been through means that much more. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that for such a long time, because honestly, making money in real estate to me is very easy. Okay. I can make a commission check, literally, again, sharing with you so that you can understand the perspective. I can make in one commission $15,000. Meanwhile, selling a course to somebody, I can make $5,000, right? There's a big difference here. But to me, genuinely helping somebody change your life means that much more. And I even recently, I did one BOGO where I was literally selling them for $300, like a course that I knew was going to be super impactful. It like 50 new girls signed up for it. Amazing. The links are down below. But it just goes to show that when you believe in yourself, you believe in what you're providing, you believe in the value you're giving, things will level up for you. Connecting with nature is something very important. We're tree huggers. We love to go hug our trees. We love to go and play more, be more goofy. I used to not be goofy. I used to think that I needed to be very poised. And when I would go to a networking event, just have this face. No, like I can be magnetically polarizing where I choose to be and where I feel comfortable to show that side, and where I want to show that side, and where I don't want to show that side. I don't have to feel forced to show that side. But that was something that I did not feel for the longest time. I felt like I had to please you. I felt like I had to say things the way that you wanted me to say them, or that I was going to come across a certain way. Recently, the most recent one that I leveled up with was this whole thinking that because I'm practicing more of this law of one, I used to believe that I couldn't be mean to anybody. But I quickly learned that we have to set boundaries. And just because we wouldn't do that to somebody else, now that we wouldn't do that to somebody else, if somebody did that to us, the law of one states that you are also not to allow anybody to do something to you that you would not do to them. So that's setting a clear boundary. And that right there actually was one of the biggest things that I've noticed recently has helped me also level up in my dating life, because for the longest time, I was still with the belief that I had to make things work with the father of my kid. And I wanted to make it be something that was going to work until I let go of that belief. And I said, you know what is going to be is going to be. I wish him nothing but the best. Me and him are great friends right now. And I need to continue to invest in myself. I need to continue to invest in myself, and the right person is going to come. I've been dating high value men. And that's something that I felt very uncomfortable to share for the longest time, because I used to think like, oh my gosh, like if you're dating, you must be up and you're just going on dates. No, there's a way that you can do it to what's suitable for you. But what's suitable for me is I know that when I have this connection to myself, the right people are aligning, and it's been happening. I've met amazing people that are allowing me to see how amazing I am. And it's making me fall in love even deeper with myself. And I heard this once, and I'm going to share it with you. When you get in a relationship, stop making people your sun. You are the sun. And what that means is that you're the sun, and you have to let the rest of the planets continue to orbit around you. If one of them falls off, it's fine. You keep going. Okay? Now, number 5, journal more and have your mind movies. This is a big one, because Neville Goddard talks about every single night before he would go to bed, he would rewrite the story to be exactly what he wanted that story to be. So I'm going to give you an example. For example, this person, he was trying to get out of the army. So what he did is he basically said every single night he would visualize himself having his whole day, but instead of the ending being at the barracks, he would end the day at his home in New York. Well, short period of time after, he manifested himself out of a situation that you would have doubted he would have gotten himself out. This is why I love reading, because it allows you to understand what's possible. Not just the news that you're watching online of people trying to push an agenda and tell you how unworthy you are and how you should buy that pill to make you feel more worthy. No, things that nurture your soul. And for me, every single night when I go to bed, I now visualize my day to end exactly the way that I would have wanted it to. So if there was even anything remotely that I could have made better, I make it better in my vision. My next day turns out even better every single day, okay? And I will say, before somebody comes for me and says, so you're saying your life is perfect? No, my life is not perfect, okay? Life happens. But the difference now is that I don't take it personal. Literally, I don't. I kid you not. I've gone to really dark places in my life in the past. And now I just tell myself, everything, even the bad, is happening for my truest and highest potential. And sometimes you say it with some tears in your face, but you understand it. Now, the point number 6 I want to make for you guys, we have 2 more points to make and we're going to finish, but it's stop watching the news. Start listening to an audiobook every day. Start listening to a podcast every day. That is such a big thing. I'm telling you, I don't watch news. News is something that is just there to push an agenda. That's what it's for, okay? And when you're trying to push an agenda, you might say, Alexa, it's perfectly fine. I need to stay educated. I need to learn more. But here's the thing. They are owned by an institution, the news, okay? So there is an agenda that is always being pushed and you are a consumer, okay? You are their prime objective. So if I want you, and I actually just read a study about this, so please take this as you will. You know, these little things that they call the 11s. The person in charge, Edward Green, I can't remember his name right now. I'll put a little clip here for you. He talks about it in an interview with 19 Keys. Okay, go check out the interview. How they literally created this whole marketing agenda to make women such as you and me feel insecure about these little lines that we had that are normal. But they made him this campaign and they're like, oh, what should we call them? They're like, oh, they look like the number 11. We should call it Get Rid of Your 11s. Everything is marketing, my friend. And once you can understand that, you can see people for what they are. Like right now, let's call it for what it is. All of your creators on YouTube that are making videos, they're trying to sell you something. That's the reality. I'm making this video to give you value so that at one point you level up yourself and you decide, you know what? I like this girl, or maybe you don't like me and you don't buy any of my courses, but you buy something from somebody else that's going to help you in leveling up. That is why everybody, when you understand their objective behind something, you can see when it's genuine. It has to be a mutual exchange. But if the news is just taking from you, that's not a mutual exchange. Find the Good News Network. That's one that they recommend a lot. Audiobooks, podcasts. There's not a day that I do not watch a podcast. There's not a day that I do not listen to an audiobook and implement what I listen to. Now, number 7 is the understanding of your body. So I have taken the time to better understand my body. I'm going to use my skin as an example. I have acne prone skin, or not anymore because that is a belief that I have let go of. But I did something about it. I said, you know what? I need to figure out my skin. I need to figure out what's going on with it. And a lot of it was stress. A lot of it was just me overthinking. But once I figured it out, it allowed me to feel more calm. So maybe you're somebody that suffers from, irregular menstrual cycles and you're taking the pill because your doctor told you to take the pill and that was going to make you feel so much better. Have you done the research of all the stuff that thing is doing to you? It's like Accutane. I love some people that, like they talk about, just trying to help their skin. But unfortunately, these things have really aggressive things for your skin. They can really harm you. And there's other things that might be better. For example, something like what's the name of it? It's a spa treatment that is with plasma, basically, where they're taking your own plasma and putting it onto your skin to help you regenerate. That's a lot better than you getting something over the counter from this like lab that they are going to now put in your skin that's going to imbalance all your hormones. Now, that right in itself, if you can better understand your body, it is going to allow you to get more in sync with that feminine energy that you're looking to activate. And the last one, This has to be my favorite one, which is invest in yourself every day. Growth. You always have to be creating. Love yourself and be surrounded by high value women. That right there, my friend, is honestly the reason why I continue to grow, because I humble myself to realize that I don't know everything. I humble myself to realize that there's extraordinary women out there that I can learn a lot from. And I humble myself enough to say I am willing to invest in them so that I can continue to invest in myself. And that personally has allowed me to quantum leap. I remember the first time that I invested in a course. It was in real estate. And I'm going to share a story with you really quick before I let you go. This course cost me $20,000. And at that time, I had just gotten past the first 2-year hurdle, and I was looking to get as like an investor in real estate. So me and my partner at the time were like, oh, we should do this. Like, we should go and all in and learn how to become investors. Well, all this to say that the first year of us forking over that payment and making credit card payments because we couldn't afford to just pay the whole $20,000. We literally got a loan and then started paying it. So interest, right, incurring. I remember that I was mad. I was like, oh my God, that was such a waste of money. Not kidding. Once I let go of that belief that that person had screwed me over, because that's what I believed, I was like, yeah, his product didn't work. He's the one at fault. That was my belief, right? Once I let go of that belief, I literally, my first deal, my first wholesale deal, and my first assignment deal made me $100,000. So I got my money 10 times. And this is where, when you can understand that you are your biggest asset, everything is going to change. If you're the same person you were yesterday, there's something going on. I am not the same person I was yesterday. I'm not going to be the same person that I was today, because I am so hungry for this next level of understanding to myself that it doesn't let me settle. And when you can activate that within you, that feminine goddess, everything is going to change. You're going to attract the opportunities that you want. You're going to attract the person, the husband, the friends, the travels, everything you want. And it's not fluff. It's real stuff. There's science. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how to quantum leap, because that's literally the most recent thing that I just did from Peru coming into now this new reality. So I'm going to share that with you, how to quantum leap and what quantum leaping is. So if that's interesting to you, stick around. We'll probably have the link down below already. But with that being said, I want to invite you to join the Walking Manifestator community. It is a place where we are empowering women to live up to their truest and highest potential, to reclaim this feminine goddess as you are. And if there's one thing that has really resonated with me from my mentors, is that you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. You really are. And who you're surrounding yourself with matters. If you're talking with your mom, or you're talking with that negative friend of yours and telling her your life story, and she's giving you advice and you're acting on that advice, I'm sorry, my love, but you're going to stay exactly in the same place that you were yesterday and the year before. And if that friend that you're taking advice from is not somebody that you would like to trade places from, I would suggest you stop taking her advice. I would suggest even you would stop taking the advice of your mom if she's not in a place that you would rather trade places from. That's the stuff that I did. And it's hard sometimes. It's triggering sometimes. But that's the real work, and that's how you change. So with that being said, I love you, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.